LAVINIA writes for a contribution to humanitarian protection programs?
Thank you for the question. I'll really be honest with you. We were struggling with the approaches to our corporates because they are always taking the advantage of the ownership of the Ngolingoli is owned by government and it's only the right that is on us, the custodians. But when this current government was elected and they went into power from December last year, in January, I made sure that I hosted the whole cabinet team back home, and I got all our corporates to come on board, and ministers and prime ministers were flying on Turtle Airways and they're going on tourist boats. I was trying to get this bonding with the cabinet team so that it makes it easy for our requests to go in. So when they were sitting there and a big pig in front of them and then raised food were being presented, and the prime minister was being asked by me if our community or if the Ngolingoli ownership can be returned to us. And of course, when we sat in for the provincial council meeting, I'm the only woman who sits in this meeting. So 21 districts in the Mba province. I was sitting there and he did an announcement that now the ownership and the right of the Ngolingoli will now be on the traditional Ngolingoli owners. So, that is at least a way forward. At least, part of the ownership is on us. So the Natula and Yasawa Ngolingoli, now the corporates know at least these people have more powers on the fishing grounds now than before. Right. And of course, we have committed $100,000 per year scholarship to our students. But I didn't go there for scholarship. I went there because I have my own conservation program.
Okay, just
another question over here.
Thank you, Lavinia and CATHY. It's a great presentation. Yeah? I would also say that I think it's also a model. I think my question relates to your work that you're doing in Fiji, and maybe most of these projects are funded projects, and also, from experience, maybe the sustainability part of it. What is your community's plan in terms of sustainability?
Thank you. I rushed through my speaking points and I forgot about the challenges and the lessons learned. It was in the third slide. I forgot about it because I was so into underway and lifestyle.
Hey.
So the lessons learned and the challenges was the monitoring part of the project. So I made sure with the Ministry of Health, the solar farm, there was a technical team that came before the commissioning team. I specifically asked this to the donors. If you can get a technical team to come and teach our fellow countrymen to how to maintain these solar batteries and panels and how they work. So basically all these solar farms are all community-led projects. The requests come from us, and when you first time do it, you learn from what you have lacked or what didn't go through, and then it progresses to the next level. So with the most recent one, all our villagers were being taught or being trained how to actually look after these panels and batteries when the installers are not. Yeah.
I've got a question for Cathy. The new resource to be able to carry out the hunting and gathering, fishing and whatnot, and mobility of the community. How is that resource shared, and is there plans for more and more of those vessels to be obtained for your Marshall Islands?
Yeah, thank you. So what they've been doing is they've been setting aside a certain number of canoes per island, and what they would do is they bring community members, canoe builders from that island to the main island, the urban center of Midero, would go through a training on how to build those canoes. And once the canoes are ready, they transport those canoes back to those islands, and it stays on those islands. And that's actually going to be a huge resource, because a lot of those islands are struggling with paying for gases. Gases have gotten so much more expensive for boats, and it's cutting down on fishing. So I think they've covered at least 5 different islands so far, and they have a few more islands to go.
Another question here.
Sorry, because this is a UN meeting, and I just wanted to make an intervention with regards to another initiative that is in the Pacific, which is looking at just transition. So there is a Portfolio Call for Action for a just transition to a fossil fuel-free Pacific. This call for action the Portfolio Call for Action was actually adopted after the 17th of March 2023 in a meeting in Port Vila, Vanuatu. And it is a call from government representatives from Tonga, the Republic of Fiji, Nigeria, the Solomon Islands, Tuvalu, and the Republic of Vanuatu, calling for a fossil fuel-free Pacific and a global just transition to equitably phase out coal, oil, and gas, including through many other specific steps. There are 4 main asks in this call for action, and I think the next step now is to take this call for action to be adopted by the Pacific Island Leaders Forum meeting that is happening in Rarotonga next month. And I think this is an initiative which demonstrates Pacific's leadership towards a just transition for a fossil fuel-free Pacific, and also looking at that transition at the global level. Thank you very much.
I have a question. Just like in the Marshall Islands there, how reliable is solar energy? Do you have a lot of blackouts, or do you have a lot of issues around continuous flow of energy?
Thank you for the question. Of course, that was another challenge I had highlighted in my slide, is when disaster strikes, or cyclones and like long period of rain. This is when there is no more sun, and then that is when even the hotels, this is the only time they do operate their standby generators. And of course, when my friend from the Solomons asked about the monitoring and the funding of these projects, and I'm always making sure that whatever form of development comes into my region from any implementer, I'm very careful on the monitoring and the sustainable part of these projects. Water projects, marine conservation projects, food security projects, I'm always careful on if these implementers have funding to look after their programs after it's been implemented. And I believe we have the right to always ask these questions when we are in consultation phase. Thank you.
I just wanted to clarify that the blackouts that are happening are occurring, because I might have spoken too fast, is occurring in the 2 urban centers. All of the neighboring atolls that are more rural are actually solarized. So it's the urban centers that really require that transition, where the government buildings are, the offices, and most of the populations are located. And that's where and the blackouts are occurring not because of solar panels, but because the current energy system is just not working, and it's very old, all of the systems we're using, which is why we need the transition to renewable energy. So that's all I just wanted to clarify. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was actually going to ask a very similar question around the importance of battery storage and those technologies alongside solar and other generation, but I think you've covered that well. But expanding on that, when you think about disaster resilience, are you finding renewable energy more resilient, where you don't have to then rely on diesel supply chains to supply your energy generation? And are there other benefits in climate resilience conversations?
Yeah, I think so. I think what we're looking at it now is our energy roadmap plan should fit under adaptation as an adaptation strategy, because it is a form of resilience to not have to rely on just the grid, and when it goes